So I'm going to be going with a dual battery in my 99 Jeep TJ, and I'm going to be replacing the single battery tray with a double battery tray made by Rugged Ridge. Smart isolator, so it'll isolate the auxiliary battery from the starting battery, and then I'm going with the second yellow Optima yellow top. So I decided I wanted a second battery so I could run a Dometic fridge, Starlink internet, and any other 12-volt accessories I want when I'm camping without draining my starting battery. And then it's on board, so when I'm driving it recharges. I'm also thinking about putting a 120-volt inverter, either a 750 or 1,000 watt, inside the cab on the passenger kick panel. So we're going to start by removing this. Hopefully my factory cables are long enough. I don't have to go get new ones or make new ones. Yeah, I don't know if those are going to be long enough. Sure, there's going to be some sort of debacle. Man, this thing is in here freaking tight. Okay, here's the factory battery tray. It looks like there's like a battery temp sensor and 4 half-inch bolts. So I got to remove the 4 bolts and remove the factory battery tray. It says to save the bolts. Wow, a little 12-volt impact worked. All my other stuff's at work somewhere. 7,000 wires. Bunch of dirt and chunks. Hopefully this thing's on a pigtail, which it is. I'm freaking losing interest here. Let go. Okay, battery tray. I'm assuming that's a battery temp sensor. Alright, we got factory battery tray out. It says save the bolts, but you only reuse 2 of the bolts. So that's where it goes. The 2 bolts that the batteries sit on, they provide you these. They're countersunk, and it's a 5mm Allen wrench. I'm gonna blue Loctite them just because I'm dumb. And this is the bottom tray. So I'll get that installed and show you it installed. A lot of wires and crap in the way, but the factory bolts you reuse go here and right there. And the 2 recessed ones they give you in the kit are here and here, and those are 5mm Allen wrench. So the Optima batteries I got have the top and the side terminals, which I didn't think anything of. So I probably should have got them with just the regular terminals. So I don't want them wearing through. The orientation of the battery, those have to point down. It doesn't matter because there's going to be a metal tray on the top anyways. So I'm going to put this rubber pad in here that I cut out to isolate it a little bit, just in case the little plasticky doos on it decide to fall out or rub through. Those things don't ground out on the freaking battery box. So I put on the little protectos on the terminals just in case because it's super tight in here, man. So while dropping the battery in, I don't arc it out on anything. There's freaking 10 million wires going on here. Should just zip tie these out of the way for now. So actually, in the ease of getting to the terminals, positive, this leads on the outside, negatives on the inside, but I think I have enough slack. I'm gonna turn the battery so these are on the tops faced up like this. That way they're easier to get to. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. So actually, this rubber pad's gonna go here and the top tray is gonna go on top of that. That's what I'm gonna do, I think. Good. Actually sits in there pretty nicely. So I got to make up some cables to go from the main battery to the solenoid, or to the relay, I mean. I got to look at the wiring diagram, how they want it. I don't even know where I'm going to mount the thing. It's not a whole lot of room in here. So this is probably less than ideal lighting, but it's what I got right now. So to install the top battery, the auxiliary battery, I had to pull the fuse box, and this is the mounting bracket, and I'm going to move it forward. This was riveted in with 4 rivets, so I drilled those out. I'm going to try to manipulate this AC line out of the way and move this forward about 1 3/4 inches, and I might have to cock it a little bit. And then I'm going to use some self-tapping pan head sheet metal screws to hook that back on, or I might rivet it, I don't know. But that's the next project to get out of the way to install 2 batteries. Simply install. Okay, so moved it forward a lot, and was able to get the AC line tweaked over enough to where it's not rubbing on the side, but it's gonna rub right here, and nothing's really keeping it from rubbing. So I'm gonna stick this little rubber pipe insulator on it so it don't rub through. Maybe I never used AC anyways, I don't even know if it works. So that'll go right there, and that ain't going nowhere. All right. It's gonna go. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I gotta do is make sure the hood closes. It should. But that gave me a ton more room for second battery. Okay, so there's been all kinds of bullshittery. Originally I was gonna put the battery in 180 degrees this way, so the positive terminal was over here and the negative was over here. But the top of the battery gets thicker on the other side, so the secondary battery tray wouldn't fit over properly. So I rotated the battery, and positives on this side, negatives on that side. It's going to work out. So this is a positive lead that's going to go to the starter battery side of the relay that I'm going to put here, I think. And then this is ground that's just going to connect to the other ground of the other battery. And then there's going to be another hot lead going to the other side of the relay off the secondary battery. And then the relay's goes to ground. So when it sees 13.2 volts from the alternator, it turns the relay on so it charges the second battery. So all the accessories are going to be on the second battery, so when the Jeep is turned off, it's only drawing power from the auxiliary battery, and it's isolated from the starting battery. So if I kill this battery, I can still start the Jeep. So this is the secondary tray. here that kind of cradles this battery. And then there's some threaded rod that goes into some welded nuts in the bottom, and then a battery strap here. And then I'm gonna have the terminal sticking forward, I think. That's the plan. Okay, this shit's getting ridiculous. For once, I would like to order a kit and have the kit work in its application. Or not work in its application, but be manufactured to go in without having to heavily modify it. These little sleeves, these aren't nuts, threaded nuts, they're just sleeves. So these go down into some welded nuts that pull this down in, you know, all together, hamburger. But these are welded on so crooked, they're not even close to lining up to the welded nuts. And it's like, the whole reason I bought the dual battery tray is so I wouldn't have to make it. Because, I mean, I could make this. This is probably the, you know, a simple thing to make, but it's like, do I want to waste 10 hours of my time cutting out a bunch of steel and welding when supposedly I could just buy a kit that bolts in, but everything's a piece of shit anymore. It gets old. Like, I don't mind fabricating, but it's like, I don't want to buy something for a stupid amount of money and have it be all fucked up. And like, I got to modify it anyways. I might as well just make my own and have it right from the get-go. It's fucking aggravating, dude. It's like all this shit product in the construction world anymore. Everything's a piece of crap. And it gets old. All right, I was able to get the threaded rod down into the welded nuts. Put these nuts on to pull this plate down. Now I'm gonna put the auxiliary battery on. This was stupid. I didn't do anything. I put a crescent wrench on here and went until everything lined up. I'm not in the mood to start cutting shit up. Oh. Get rid of this handle. Good. This one, I believe I'm gonna put just like this. Strap, battery strip. I'm sure this ain't gonna line up with the damn. So this is gonna rub on the coil side on that AC, so I'm gonna nib this corner off and that should be plenty fine. Alright, I nibbed the corner here with a flap wheel grinder. That should be enough to clear the line for the AC. Piece of crap. Alright, now I gotta find the nuts. So I'm shortening up the ground here. A piece of shrink tube, probably cut that down a little bit. And I got some copper ends here, eyelets, whatever you want to call them. This is a pretty cool tool I bought for doing solar. It's I think it's a 10-ton hydraulic crimper tool. I crimp all my connections when I could keep it on there. I'll get it snug on there first and then stick the wire in. Better than soldering. Hey, beautiful crimp. This little cable clamp bracket thing was for the battery isolator, but I'm running a different kind, so I just drilled a couple holes in the backing plate and then bolted it to it. And then this is gonna go on here. I wanted to mount it on the firewall, but there's no spot for it. Unless I put it on the other side, and I don't want to run wire that long. Less is more. Be a dual battery hero. I got 2 in my car. Use my fat to hold the handle and pump that shit. Oh, this song rules. Making up the second battery cable. Go from auxiliary battery to relay. Or the isolator relay. Call that a day. And I'm gonna trim that out some. Because why would the provided wire fit through the hole? Nobody knows. I better get a lock washer. Gonna lock washer it and double nut it. The hardware. The hardware bin provides again. I just gotta cut those off. And I'll put a washer on them too. Make sure this works before I start zip tying shit. Gotta cut those screws off. Alright, place your bets. Alright, well, let's see if everything works. I think I'm missing the ground for the light switch. Winch works. Yikes. So it says to turn on the isolator takes a minute. To help it along, to turn on the headlights. Okay, that's working. That should drain it pretty quick. LED off. Okay, cut out. So now I'm running on just the auxiliary battery. Sweet. Time to clean up and go to bed. I gotta see if this shit closes. Everything out of the way. Just work. Fucking nice.